This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat.
Nerds.
Nerds.
Hey.
We're here with a different setup. We were trying for several different things, and we settled on a Blue Yeti.
Which is questionably red.
Yeah, strangely red. You think they would all be blue. I have seen one that was blue, but this one is inexplicably red. And then they have white ones and black ones. Anyway, it's been a minute, actually.
Has it, though? It's only been 2 weeks.
No, it's been a minute since we've used this setup. I think the last time was when we were at Zach's house, and he was a guest. We were talking about Dragon Ball
Really?
Z, and we used the Blue Yeti surround sound.
This is so nice that we can all look into each other's eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all might hear a little bit of an echo, but you should hear our voices loud and strong. So, anyway.
What are we talking about today? This evening?
Sex Boom!
What?
Hello, Daddy.
Our new favorite
Hello,
band.
Mom.
Hello.
Sex bomb.
You know what we need, Richard? We need
Oh,
tour
way to
shirts.
go, babe.
We need tour shirts with all the fictional tour dates on them.
For a minute,
I-
I thought you went like deep nerd and you were saying TOR, like tour shirts. Sorry,
You lost
it's
me.
a science fiction publisher.
Oh,
My
that was deeper than I'm aware of.
I don't know what they're talking about. I'm just gonna sit here. Almost stop.
We are here to talk about Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
First,
That's
there
it.
was the graphic novel. Then there was the live-action film. Now there's the anime.
I like the live action film.
somewhere in
It
between-
was weird.
Somewhere in between there's a video game too, which I have not
Oh
played.
yeah, the official video game. I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
I heard about it and I'm like, I want to play that at
I
some
do
point.
too. I do too. One day maybe.
Yeah.
So is this a new series? Oh my!
All my stuff touching.
Our 2-year-old is putting her feet on the Blue Yeti.
Yeah. It picks up a lot of background noise, unfortunately. But it also picks up voices really well. So,
So if I chew real loud, it'll hear me. Ew,
Yeah.
was not inviting
will.
any of that. None of that.
it will pick it up.
So is this a new series on Netflix or so? It's like
Yes.
how recent?
Newish.
2023. baby.
Oh, hey, I was there that year.
Yeah.
All my feet. Stop.
Stop. Yeah, 2023. And according to Netflix, the basic synopsis is slacker Scott Pilgrim leads a sweet and simple life until sparks fly and ignite total chaos when he meets the rainbow-haired girl of and or from his dreams.
That's right.
I added that last little part. We'll explain it here in a minute.
Okay.
I
hope you do.
I still need Space Subways explained to me.
So, background knowledge, Laura, as you said, you've seen the live action movie with
See
me.
the live action one. It was like weird and pleasant. And who's the main actor kid in that?
Michael Cera.
He's so silly, and he doesn't really fit any type of person that I'm aware of. Here, we'll hold her. We're passing the baby around.
You come to our house, you
Absolutely.
get drafted.
Hello, kiddo.
You get
Hello,
drafted.
kiddo.
Hi, Alma. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I really liked Michael Cera's performance, and it was like uncomfortable and very like humorous and charming and just really strange. And the roommate,
Yes.
I didn't know what was going on there, but it was very entertaining.
Wallace.
Yes.
Wallace Wells, played
Oh, it
by
was so funny.
Kieran Culkin,
Oh man.
who plays. I think he kind of plays the same character in almost everything I've seen in him, and that's like his personality, I guess.
Okay.
Kinda, that snarky, like I'm short, but I make up for it with personality.
Oh man, that
kind
is
of
me
person.
through and through. Don't get me started.
He was in the first episode of season 2 of Fargo, which is a series I've really enjoyed. But anyway, Kieran Culkin, brother of Macaulay Culkin. And we're talking about actors from the live action. All of them returned for this anime series. They returned to lend their voices to their original characters.
Oh,
from the 20s.
really?
Yeah,
Which is
same
very
actors.
impressive.
Even Michael Cera?
Yeah, Michael Cera.
No way!
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Even
No
Chris Captain
way!
America.
Oh yeah, Chris Evans came back.
No way!
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Jason Schwartzman, etc., etc. Yeah, all the original cast. Oh yeah, and Aubrey Plaza comes back. She says a few more F words in this series. It is TVMA, whereas the movie was PG-13. So I think they may have bleeped it. They just completely bleeped it.
Yes.
Whereas this one, they didn't try as hard to bleep it completely. They kind of bleeped it more for humor. You can still hear what she's saying, but it still does a little bit of the bleep.
So this is the animated version you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Anime.
Japanese.
Yeah, it's all...
I don't. Tell me the difference. Oh, okay, wait, hold
It
on.
was
Hold on.
made
Wait,
in
wait,
Japan.
wait. What?
It was made in Japan
Just okay.
by a Japanese animation studio.
Okay.
That's the only difference.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
stylistically, it is different than, say, your typical American cartoon. Although, there's so many different animation styles in American cartoons now, I don't know what you would even call the typical American cartoon, but there is...
It's a mixing pot.
There's still a noticeable difference, I think, in Japanese style versus American style.
So
More
what?
importantly, it's the style of the book.
Yes. Yeah, so Brian Lee O'Malley is the creator of the...
Sorry for cutting you off.
Six...
I'm taking it personally.
She's taking that personally.
Yeah, I am.
Brian Lee O'Malley was the creator of the original 6-volume graphic novel series that was released from 2004 to 2010 by Oni Press, based out of Portland, Oregon. And at the end of that journey, I think Alma, do you want to join in? Yeah? Do you want to comment?
What do you want to say, buddy?
She did see a little bit of this with me. What do you think of Scott Pilgrim?
Can you say hello?
Say hello.
Oh,
No.
oh, now you're
Now-
shy.
now you're shy.
You're shy. That's cool. Whatever, kid.
But anyway,
Whatever.
Brian Lee O'Malley is half Irish, roughly half Irish, half Korean, which is interesting.
That's not possible.
Interesting
Continue.
mix.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he is from Toronto, where the graphic novel, movie, etc. takes place.
That makes sense.
Toronto. Yeah, right. What you know, right?
Yes.
Actually, is it Toronto or is it? Yeah, Toronto, in the province of Ontario, in Canada.
Fun fact, I've been to Toronto. Yes.
Really? I didn't know this. When did you go to Toronto?
2004, 2005.
Maybe you walked
I went twice.
past Brian and didn't even know it. Speaking of,
It's a big place. I kind of doubt it.
well, speaking of walking past Brian and possibly not knowing it, apparently,
Oh no. What?
apparently from 2008 to 2010, he and his wife lived in North Carolina.
Wow.
And I couldn't help but wonder, you and I went together to HeroesCon in 2010, and I was like, I wonder if he was there. And we didn't know who he was yet.
He probably was. I tend to avoid the really famous people because their lines take hours to get through or something like that.
Was he really famous yet at that point? I knew his graphic novel, maybe within the Comic-Con verse, perhaps. But the movie hadn't, I don't know if it had just come out at that point. Either just come out or was coming out. It came out that year, that same year that we went to HeroesCon together.
I mean, the line for Stan Sakai wasn't that bad, but then again, I was there waiting for him before he even got to his table. But
Ah, yes.
never mind. I'm zoning. I'm going on a rabbit chase right now. I'm going into a left field.
So anyway,
What's
So-
this about?
Will, would you
Well,
like to illuminate us?
what's this about? Because I'm not.
It's exactly like the movie. It follows the exact same plot as the book
Really?
until Scott dies. That's the end of episode 1.
Why?
And then the rest of the series, there's no Scott.
Really?
It's all about the female, darn
Ramona
Jingleheimer
Flowers.
Schmidt, Ramona Flowers. It's all about Ramona, instead of Scott fighting the evil exes and killing them all into little piles of little video game change. It's all about her facing her evil exes and making amends with each one of them.
Okay, so that's what the
Like a healthy
live-
adult human
like
being.
a healthy. Okay.
Plot
that's-
twists. Eventually. I don't know if I should spoil it yet.
Yeah, you should. I'm not going to watch it. I promise you. It's not
Scott was alive the entire time. Dun, dun.
Spoiler warning, by the way. Spoiler warning.
Is it really a spoiler?
I mean, they do let you know that he's still alive at the end of, I believe it's episode 4. There's 8 episodes.
How many? Oh, okay.
8 episodes in the season. Quick rundown. Episode 1. Never mind. I won't go through the
Yeah,
titles.
no, you don't
but,
have to do that.
but we could use this as kind of a way to talk about the plot a little bit. So you have the first episode, like, it, as Will was saying, like, it is almost identical to the beginning of the movie up until he fights the first villain from the League of Evil Exes. So I don't know if you remember
Matthew Patel.
the League. Yeah. So, like, 7 of Ramona Flowers' ex-boyfriends have joined together, led by Gideon. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, I didn't specify gender. I just said exes. So like, there's 6 men and 1 woman, all of whom she dated in the past, and they have joined together in a League of Doom, right, to spy on her and make sure she doesn't date anyone else. It's a little unclear at first.
I think these kids have too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
They sound way too well rested, so I'm against them. Continue.
I just want to know, what kind of a person do you have to be to inspire all of your exes to form an evil league to prevent you from dating anybody else and trying to get you back? I mean,
Too much
she must have
energy.
been like, I don't know, some sort
like
of
combination of really amazing,
yeah.
and then it gets the impression like they all really liked her in their dating periods, but then one of the important lessons she learns about herself through this and has to admit to herself is that the things that she loves, she runs away from. So,
Golly.
so she
Too much energy.
She was amazing in a lot of ways, but then
But she's a serial dater.
with each person, she did something to hurt them, whether it was running away from the relationship or something else that she did. In one case, like the 2 in the middle, numbers 5 and 6, were twins, and she dated them. They were both kind of players at her college, so they were both going after her, and she, behind each other's backs, dated both of them at the same time.
Ew. So this is actually not just. This is childhood trauma coming out. This is what I think.
Yeah, and all these people
I think this person sounds very unhealthy, and she shouldn't date. Period. Maybe she should just go be a monk somewhere.
By the way, all the characters they're about 23, 22 years old.
I don't care how old they are. They're being dumb as being dumb.
I mean, who wasn't dumb in their 20s?
I took very care of myself very much.
I was very dumb.
I liked being outside.
Not dumb in relationships. I was dumb in relationships, but I didn't kiss anybody till I was 25, so it's not like
Oh,
was a
that's
heartbreaker.
beautiful. Really? That's so sweet.
I'm a sheltered nerd.
Hey,
Aww.
my first kiss was later than that, so you beat me to it.
Was it really?
Really?
Yeah,
When was it?
I would have been 28.
I remember.
Yeah, you do.
At least you had girlfriends before you got married
Our first kiss turned to be pretty
or
epic.
dates.
It was great.
Yeah, it lasted a long time.
We should talk about that. I have opinions. Well, Oma, what do you need?
It ended up. Should we tell the story?
What?
It feels appropriate because this series is. I mean, basically the whole thing is about dating in your 20s.
Yeah.
Like, essentially.
It was great.
Combined with, having to fight to the death against evil exes and whatnot. Like,
It's also about, although very briefly, about where that leads, I guess. I'm not sure how to describe that. Later life problems.
yes. Yeah, and that is something interesting.
I have to admit, when reading the book and I question whether or not I even saw the live action film because my memories aren't really all there. But knowing the basic plot of reading the book, I've always wondered if Scott would turn into one of the evil exes sometime after the closing of the story anyway.
Ah, yes. Yeah, so that may be a good way to get back to the plot. So, describing this series versus the live action movie, this basically, there's a twist that leads to this being essentially a parallel universe, more or less, to the original movie, and as I understand it, the original graphic novel series as well. It diverges significantly, and we eventually find out that is because Scott figures out a way, with the help of the twins in the future, numbers 5 and 6 of the Evil X's. With their help, he is able to travel back in time and stop himself from defeating Matthew Patel, the very first of the Evil X's who he originally fights. And at first, though, as Will said, we think that he's died. For a couple episodes, we think that he's dead, and then we find out that he's not. And then there's a mystery, which is pretty cool. It's well written, it's well done. There's a mystery that lasts the next several episodes. We're back.
We're back.
Yeah, so we had to pause for a bit. We had an unruly child. Normally our daughter's asleep by this time of night, but she decided to stay awake.
Don't worry, you missed a lot. I kept talking because I didn't know we weren't recording.
Yeah, I think we were talking about season 2 and whether there needs to be a season 2 and how they left the door open for season 2. And I think it could. I think they tied it up nice and neat as far as the storyline goes. So if it gets canceled or not picked up for season 2 by Netflix, I think it's fine. But they did leave the door open with that little cutscene at the end, which I liked.
Oh, absolutely. I just feel like what I don't know. I'll have to go through the credits, so I don't know if what was his name? O'Malley?
Brian Lee O'Malley. Yeah.
Lee O'Malley. Brian Lee O'Malley. I don't know if he wrote every single episode of this anime or if others wrote it for him based on his characters.
He had someone they partnered with as a co-showrunner, and so he was very, very involved. I was listening to a panel that he actually hosted with some of the other creators involved, including Edgar Wright, who's the person who directed the live-action film, was also involved with the anime, and as well as a little cameo within the series with a character by the name of Edgar Wrong.
Well, I think that this anime series really answered a lot of what I'm trying to say is they turned the book upside down and created a better story that serves the characters better, helps the characters to grow. In the original book, they don't grow.
Wow.
Or at least not to this point, not in this way. And I think that they ultimately make a better story for these characters in this anime. Now, that's why I was saying it didn't need a season 2. It's because it's beautiful and perfect how this anime ended. But I'm looking forward to the possibility of a season 2. What would happen?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed this season. Like, in many ways, as much or more than I enjoyed the movie. I would say more than I enjoyed the movie even. But I watched the movie originally. I think I was a little older than the characters were, but it was still in my 20s, I think. So it kind of just catches you at that season of life, where you're still dating, still trying to figure things out, don't have the greatest job in the world yet, kind of thing. But you got your friends, and you're just, sort of a 20s coming of age story, with obviously video game battles to the death thrown into the universe. where people turn into coins when they when they die.
That's so weird.
I don't know if they even talk about. I guess it's just kind of a given in the live action that the characters die. They just turn into coins, but in here they actually talk about that they're dead. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, in video game world that makes sense, but I guess in this universe, people actually die when they fight, but then people just have random fights, like video game style. Apparently,
Yeah.
Scott had already had a number of fights and had a reputation for that region, apparently. But yeah.
You said there was growth. Can you talk more about that?
Well, at one
What
point,
did that look like? Yeah.
I mean, all the characters get growth, but at one point they actually almost break the fourth wall when when Scott does come back and he apologizes to Knives for dating and her when she's underage.
What?
Yeah, Knives is 17.
Yeah, and he was 23.
Ooh.
Dun, dun. Knives actually says that she's glad that Scott is alive, but also glad that he was dead for a while because it gave her time to reflect and grow. So that's what I mean when I say it almost broke the fourth wall. It's because the character actually openly admitted that was the agenda all along for these characters to grow and to develop past what they were able to in the manga. I wouldn't say manga, the graphic novel.
Well, I know this, like, I love the nostalgia, like the early 2000s nostalgia. Even though it takes place in Canada, there's still just a lot
Oh yeah.
of culture, I guess, cultural touch points you share in common. Like, and there's just the coming of age element. You know, I think that I wouldn't say it's universal because obviously there's some cultures where it's just very different.
Yeah.
You've already had your coming of age at like at 13 or something. You know what I mean? It could be very different, but Canada has a lot of similarity, I imagine, to America.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
So yeah, it's really enjoyed it. Like the animation is really well done. It's in anime style, but like Will said, you know, it's it looks just like the books come to life, basically colorized. Although they have been colorized already, but
Oh, they have
because
that?
they originally, yeah, like when HarperCollins picked it up and republished it, I think they may have, and it's possible that Oni Press might have already done the color version as well.
okay.
But when it was originally being released, it was black and white.
Right, I
Obviously,
read.
not full manga style. I don't think
No.
it was right to left, but it was kind of that
No.
that black and white serialized manga style, I think.
Right. I checked out the first chapter from the library, and my copy was black and white.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Maybe it hasn't been colorized. I don't know. Maybe this is the first time it's possible.
Oh, well, you said that with such conviction and authority. though.
Well, no, I might have read it wrong when I was doing my research.
Oh, okay.
So it's possible I read it wrong. I think it said it had been colorized by this point. I know on the website, Oni Press, they have Scott Pilgrim right up there on the front page of the website. Anything
Cool.
color, that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, because usually the covers are in color, but in the insides are. But yeah, they talk some about the music too. I mean, like from the live action version, like in this is the panel I was watching with Brian Lee O'Malley, like the live action version, the songs for Sex Bomb were written by Beck, written in, like he recorded the guitar, and I think he might have had some hand in the lyrics too, but he wrote the music and recorded the guitar portion.
Cool.
Of the songs for them, and then the actors came in later and did the vocal work for the songs. But they wanted it to sound pretty good, like a really good sucky band, I guess. So they're like, oh, they could make it big, but they're just meeting in someone's garage right now, you know, and they have one super fan.
The baby's traveling. It is flying. It is landing.
Bear witness podcast universe. For this baby has been with you for a couple of years now.
That's very true. Yeah, she has made appearances in quite a few episodes.
Wouldn't I like hand her to you when she was swaddled?
Yeah, when she was like on the edge of sleep, or like you would just hand her to me and it's like here, hold this, and while we were recording.
Oh my goodness. Teeny baby.
Yep. So you guys have heard her grow up these
Ugh.
last
Heard
2
her.
years. Yeah.
With your ears.
Yep. There we go.
And we're back.
Had to figure out how to get the thing to record again.
We are talking about character development. Richard, continue.
Yeah, so like with the original storyline, obviously Scott has to face, defeat, / kill, or get them to kill themselves, as in the case of Lucas Lee. He like grinds on his skateboard to death.
What?
I mean, it's just so
Yes.
it's so over the top. And
Wait,
ridiculous.
grind? Like,
You know, like grinding on the skateboard.
oh, I thought you meant like the dance.
No.
It's like that's
that'd be,
not right.
That'd be funny too, actually. Then you just like
That's what I thought.
coins shower down.
That's what I thought. Wait, so what is okay?
Yeah, culminating with his fight with the big baddie, the orchestrator.
What did you do, Wallace?
Gideon. You know, and then he gets the girl more or less, you know, at the end, and she gets involved in fighting too. But one thing that's cool about this is like because Scott gets kidnapped early on, then she gets involved in some fights a couple times earlier than she did in the original story. One of them is with one of her exes. She gets confronted by her ex. Oh, darn it!
Roxanne?
Roxanne, yes, Roxanne. They dated in college, but then Ramona.
Wait, how old are these children?
I mean, they would have been probably like 19 or 20 when they dated.
Okay.
You know, they were in college. They were her sophomore or junior year or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Ramona, like, just left without even talking to her. Basically, like she looked at her as she was leaving, but just didn't say anything, didn't explain why. She just bailed.
I like how we get into the backstories a little bit in this version.
Yeah, you find out more of the history of Ramona's relationships with each of her exes, and each one of them is humanized. You know, and obviously they have a lot more time to do that than they would have had in just a 2-hour movie. But you get to know, you know, more of the story with each of them, and a little bit more with Scott too. Like you get to know a little bit more about his relationship with M.B. Adams, I think, than they were able to do in the movie. And they even have a funeral for Scott after they initially think he's dead. So you get to see that and you get to see how his friends react. Wallace is just kind of like, well, you know, there's better reasons for wearing black, but there's a lot of reasons for wearing black, and this is one of them, or something like that. I think it's, you know, a typical detached Wallace fashion.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Wallace character also developed, you know, over time, because like eventually, I think it's episode 6 or 7, we travel to the future and we get to see what Scott Pilgrim, who he got abducted by, which was older Scott Pilgrim, you know, 37-year-old Scott Pilgrim, came back in time and abducted 23-year-old Scott Pilgrim so that he would never get together with Ramona in the first place, because 14 years in the future, 37-year-old Scott Pilgrim and Ramona are separated, and he thinks the relationship is over. He thinks she's just running away again, and he just he's like, I'm done. I'm gonna go back in time. And just he takes something Wallace said, I think, too literally.
Yeah.
And then the twins somehow know how to time travel. And
It's not as ridiculous as
No.
by the way, I have rollerblades made out of a DeLorean.
oh yeah,
Later.
that was great though. I love that.
It was, but still.
No, I just love the tonality of the series, like the humor style, and the writing is excellent, the voice acting is solid, the music is good, like the animation is good. There's a mystery, which I always love a good mystery. and just yeah, I really liked this series. So, yeah, and the character development part was cool because she ends up ends up reconciling with in different ways, with each one of her exes, and yeah, and they become basically no longer evil, in the sense they're not out to destroy any future boyfriends of hers for the most part. It just yeah, they're able to move on as well because she goes back and repairs some of the damage.
So I have to think that was a convincing argument for the actors to want to return to these characters.
Yeah, you get to go in a different direction, like revisit some of the same beats, but then go in a very different direction with their characters and see the growth. Yeah, I imagine that had to be compelling. So it is cool that they got all the original people to come back. But yeah, well, I guess we're coming up on our time here. We could start talking about ratings, how we would rate this series overall. And this is one we actually got to watch. We had time. I mean, short episodes, so that helped. But we watched all 8 episodes. Both of us did.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it was really good. I got drawn into it more so than with X-Men '97 the other week. Honestly, I just enjoyed it. It's just so much fun.
I'm glad. I think I was drawn more into X-Men '97, but that's not a comparison that I expected to make tonight.
Yeah. I was more interested. I wanted to finish it because I didn't finish X-Men, but also just I was enjoying it more than I enjoyed X-Men.
Right.
Personally,
the plot was definitely. Within X-Men, each episode has its own unconnected plot mostly, but in Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, it's one big plot with chapters. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And in that sense, it was more enjoyable.
Yeah, and it even throws in a Broadway musical version of the Scott Pilgrim story towards the end, which was pretty fun. Which I also like Broadway.
Written by old and young Neil.
Oh yeah, old and young Neil.
I wonder if there's any relation.
Yeah. I don't remember him from the movie. I don't remember if young Neil was in the live action movie.
He seems like a throwaway character.
He must have been important in the books.
Unnecessary.
I don't remember him being in the. No. Anyway, I don't remember him being in the live action movie. But anyway, well, how many nerd hats would you give this series?
I don't know. I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 nerd hats.
Nice, good, solid rating. Yeah, I just enjoyed his over the years. It's one of the very first podcasts I ever listened to. That and Stuff You Should Know, I think, were 2 of the first. And yeah, they're 2 of the oldest out there.
Wow. I'm going to add my comments because I'm going to tell you, yes, I am tired. However, what is going on? I don't know what's going on in this series. The live action one for me was already hard to follow, and I did enjoy it, but I don't think I could jump on this train of Scott Pilgrim with an animated version. I can't. It's frustrating because I think the way you guys described the growth too I was like intrigued by that, but I don't like cartoons, and it's a little too chaotic for my brain.
Oh, okay.
It's a little too chaotic. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
We didn't even mention the Ninja Paparazzi.
See, it's like it's so chaotic.
I love the Ninja Paparazzi. That was great.
See, I want to watch something and have a few questions and have them answered. I don't think, and I would have so many questions. I would have so many questions watching this, and none of them would get answered like that. What even is that? Why?
Why are Ninja Paparazzi there?
What?
Why is Knives and Roxanne ninjas?
Well, I think it's that I thought was perfect because paparazzi they're trying to sneak up on you and hide.
Yeah.
and capture the picture. So I thought that was perfect.
So confusing. So confusing.
Well, one extremely important plot point that we didn't mention. Spoiler warning: we've already spoiled a lot for this series, but if you're watching this, listening to this podcast, you've already gone in saying, "Hey, I'm going to spoil this for myself." So, whereas old Scott Pilgrim kidnaps young Scott Pilgrim to stop himself from dating, it's actually old Ramona, who is still in love with Scott Pilgrim, who delivers in the past the script for a movie that eventually gets turned into a Broadway play of their actual dating life.
Oh, so it's too much Inception. It's too much. It's too much. I am intrigued, and it's too much.
I will say though, as time travel shows or movies go, it was easier to follow the time travel logic because they didn't try that hard to make it. They didn't try to get into the physics of it or anything. They just kind of it was like movie physics. Like, let's throw in some Back to the Future references and let's just have fun with it. We're not going to try that hard to explain it.
So confusing.
True.
It's like this is a plot device, and it's fun. And I thought that worked.
True.
So, nerd hats. For me, I think I'm gonna go with 4.25.
Okay.
Yeah, I was playing around with 4.5, but I understand, especially after what you mentioned about him becoming an evil X. Like Scott also becomes an evil X towards the end.
I mean, I wondered that years ago.
That symmetry kind of makes sense. But I don't know. I just didn't enjoy that part as much. I thought he went a little bit too far.
I feel sad for even older Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. Later on, he gets even older. It's what is it, 47 or something? But anyway, so that lowered the ending a little bit for me. But anyway, thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was excellent. 4.25 nerd heads for me. All right. Well, everyone gets this still restless, so we should probably wrap this up. Until next time, nerds.
Sayonara.
Live long and prosper.
I'm so confused.
Hey nerds, Richard here. I just want to take a minute to say thank you for listening to this episode. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time listener, we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to join us as we get together and talk about movies, TV shows, comic books, manga, you name it. We have fun, and we hope you did too, so thank you so much for listening. I'd like to ask, wherever you're listening, whether that's on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, etc., take a moment to follow our podcast or like it or subscribe, whatever your particular app allows. And if you can, give us a rating as well. Let us know what you think. That really helps us to get the podcast out to even more new listeners such as yourself. So we would really appreciate that. If you're on social media, as I am, you can find us there. On Instagram, we are at NerdHatPod. On Facebook, we are NerdHat. And if you don't like social media, but you still watch YouTube, you can find us there too. We are NerdHat Entertainment. That's our channel there. We have some old video episodes as well as some video content from Instagram, Reels, and the like that I've created, downloaded, and then re-uploaded to the YouTube, and I have some fun with it. I do impressions and voiceovers and the like. You guys know me, so just go check it out. Have some fun while you wait for our next episode to come out. And until then, thank you so much. And as always, live long and prosper.